Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to another amazing episode of Musicians Hangout with your host, Crush Fistfight, the Booty Pop Moopsie, and Maxine Maxwell from the Maxwells.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. Wow, it is great to be back. Let me tell you, it has felt like so long since last week.
It's been I felt like it's been like a month, but it's only been a week.
I'm like, wait, that was only a week ago? Like, I felt like I haven't seen you forever, friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, I am so excited to hang out with you and just forget about all the worries in the world with my friends tonight.
Yes. And that is the absolute plan for tonight.
Absolutely. So
Because
I'll go over.
We have an amazing guest tonight.
We do.
Excited.
Oh my gosh. It's been so long since we've had him on. All right. So I'll go over our mission statement and then we'll bring him to the show. Yes. Our mission statement here at Musicians Hangout is to be part of a revolution to create friendships with other artists and build a community network to save music. Let's bring Spider in the Hall in the house.
Yes, it's your good buddy Spider back again.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So long.
Oh, it has. The last time I was here, you didn't even have the background or like the special intro or anything. Like that was before you guys went like super legit.
Oh, we got one better. So you know how like we always have like some sort of technical issue. It's always a thing with musicians hang out. I don't know what it is. It's just the internet hates us. So now we have a technical issues video that we can play.
Ooh, yeah. See,
we have our very
good friend Don. Don Rush in the band audio side. He made it for us, and
excellent.
It's their song that is actually playing in the background, which I absolutely love.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I wish there was more technical difficulties just so we could.
No, we haven't had enough technical difficulties since we got the video. It's almost like Murphy's Law. We got the video, we have it ready, and now we don't really need it. We've been so close. Like last week, we almost ran it because our guests beforehand, when we were, meeting in the green room before the show, they were having audio issues. So we were so close to like just running it when we began the show. But then all of a sudden, everything worked just in time.
Just like magic.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Spider, you're part of the StreamYard family. I think that's awesome that we inspired you to start out, streaming a few things on StreamYard.
Yeah.
Several different
things.
Yeah.
I actually follow your stuff on StreamYard.
Got a lot of stuff. My main channel is on YouTube, and it's called Spider Does Things because I do things, and it includes my music, which I have something to talk about there in a little bit here.
We're gonna get to that.
It includes all of my spirits tastings, which of course, as you folks know, I like me some drinks.
Oh yeah.
And just about everything else, and it's going to be a good avenue for something else that I've got working on here that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes as well, because I'm not here just representing myself. I'm representing a record label here in Canton, Ohio.
So happy for you.
I'm pretty stoked about it still. Like it's been a few months, but it's been kind of playing catch up because I was the new guy and I had to see how they do business, and then the holidays came, and then a whole bunch of just stuff happened in my life that was like, oh my gosh, the hits. But now we're gonna go full steam ahead with a lot of different things. So that's pretty cool.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Cannot wait to hear about that.
Where do you want me to start? I got so much.
What have you been doing lately, like musically?
Well, musically is interesting. Personally, I got out of the music thing. I called myself retired a few years back because I was just like, it's too much of a struggle. I don't have the time anymore. I can't, I can't bring in the numbers. It was too much. And I stepped away from everything. I was like, I'm done. I've put out I mean, I put out 16 albums since
Wow,
'99, which is a
that's
lot
incredible.
of
That's a
stuff.
lot of albums.
I'm still surprised when I look back and be like, I really put out that much. Oh wow, yeah, look at that. So,
Super busy.
but I was like, I'm done. I'm not gonna do it anymore. So then recently, when was it? It was I think November was when I'm on an app for local neighborhood people. It's kind of like Facebook, but for local neighbors and things.
Oh yeah.
You probably know which one it is. I don't know if I can say it because I don't know if you guys will get like hit with something like,
yeah,
oh no. I always got to be careful now that I'm doing so much
Yep.
video stuff. I don't want people to get hit with copyright stuff, but
Oh my gosh, and we get hit with it all the time, especially
Yeah.
our
all
montages.
the time.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm on this thing, and there's a guy on there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm looking for somebody local to help me run a record label." And at the time, I didn't think too much of it because you see all kinds of messages from people. But the more I kept sitting there and thinking about it, I was like, the least I could do was offer, because I've got some experience working with this. I didn't make it big, but who's to say if I don't help somebody else, maybe they can get out of whatever their position they're in.
Yeah, you never know what partnerships can take you anywhere, really.
Right.
And that's true. So I tell the guy, I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll talk to you about it. We'll see what we can figure out. Let's meet here at famous coffee shop. And
Yep.
Gotcha.
and let's talk it over. So I went up there, I met with him and met with somebody else on the roster, and I just they had a lot of stuff figured out already, but I was like, well, have you thought about this? Now have you thought about this? And they came out of it pretty impressed, and I was like, you know what? This might be a really good thing. So I said, all right, let's throw these ideas back and forth. And they had a show in December that they wanted me to go to so I could see how everything was going. And I went to that. I liked what I saw. I'm pretty impressed with a lot of the artists on the roster. So now I'm official, and I'm working in. It's basically brand promotion and merchandising, and I think working with artist development and things. We don't have like a defined roles and things in there, but I'm in with the company, and we're working towards the same kind of stuff.
Okay,
and that is
work to your strengths really for right now.
Right.
I gotcha. We get that.
And the label, for anybody who wants to visit them on Facebook, it's called Big Buff Records, 2 G's, 2 F's. It is, well, it was, because we're moving things in a lot of directions now. When I first joined, it was strictly a hip hop and rap music label. But now that I'm there and I come from a more rock and metal background, we're slowly adding that into it to expand into that. And that's based out of Canton and Akron, Ohio. And we've got a lot of really super talented people. I'm going to actually jump on my phone and post some links in the chat room.
Do.
Yes, please do.
I meant to I had this grand idea to like make an audio sample for you guys to play, and then it's been just so crazy around here that I haven't. I just have not had the chance to get to it. I wanted to, but I didn't.
Well, I was really hoping that you would too. But I mean, I understand. Life gets to you. Life happens.
Absolutely. Well, and maybe it's something we can share during one of our montages sometime.
Yeah, that's true, because there's a lot of videos out there. This is just a few links from the different people who were involved.
All right,
all very talented.
For those links, boom.
If you're interested in hip hop music,
right? And we know some people in the metal industry in the Ohio area.
Black Sasquatch, who are big fans of you folks. I've been keeping an eye on them because
I love those guys.
Because one of the things that I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to also, I don't know how often I'm going to do it, because I don't have like anxiety things, but I'm not a super people person all the time. I like being in my house. I
I
don't
get
like
that.
going
Oh,
different
yeah.
places. But
Yep. I don't like that.
I'm putting shows together now, and they're on my radar for potential future
Yes.
shows.
Should be.
No,
Oh, and
just-
put audio side on that as well. Gosh, we know so
Yeah.
many. West Devil, he's on our show next week. Like, oh my
Yes.
God, go on and on. We know so many people in Ohio now. It's so crazy. Like,
And you know, if you want to be funky
Ma-
with it, you got to get Shorty.
oh yes, Shorty. Oh my God, freaking love that guy. Ohio from Hernando. Much love to you guys out there in Ohio. We've got
Yes.
probably just as big a fan base in Ohio as we do out here in the Pacific Northwest, because like we have very similar community like feel to our music industry in these areas. So like we can relate with how these bands interact with others and support each other. So
Yes,
like
that's what it comes to, supporting each other. They want to support us, we want to support them. And exactly.
It is a very similar atmosphere too,
it
because
is.
I know out your folks' way there was a time, like of course everybody knows Seattle was huge for grunge and all that kind of stuff.
The 90s
And then
were
for a while everything kind of went down and nobody was doing anything. And the same thing kind of happened in Ohio. We had that big scene in Cleveland. Cleveland was huge for stuff. And then a few places closed, and it was just like everything was real kind of depressed here, and we had big bands skipping Ohio completely and not coming through for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And now things are kind of starting to pick up a little bit. Like I know people I used to play with in Pennsylvania who get better reception in Ohio now than they do in Pennsylvania, which is a big, change of pace. So there's a lot of good things, especially in this area, in the Akron, greater Cleveland area. You're getting a lot of upwards movement in that compared to what was a few years ago.
I mean, I don't know what's going on a national level. I just know the local level. But I gotta say, here in Seattle, there's like a few bands you really need to look for because they are just amazing. So, and I can't wait to, highlight them.
Well, that's Ohio, the thing about the independent scene is that there are so many like awesome bands that you can go see on a local level, and you don't have to pay the astronomical prices for the big bands to go support some amazing musicians in your local music community.
And since we're on that topic, I have to make sure I shout this out because this is my big, this is my first project as part of the new record label. I have a show. I'm not performing there, but I'm the host. I'm organizing the show, and it is at a place called the McAlpine Meadery. They make their own mead that you can drink on premises or buy at different things. And I've had some of it. It's delicious. I've had raspberry mead, and I had another kind that was really good. But they have shows there. It's a nice little, super cozy, almost punk little atmosphere there. And they're in Beach City, Ohio. I have flyers with the address at my page on Facebook and on the Big Buff Records page. If everybody wants to go follow Big Buff Records on Facebook, you'll see the event page there. This is this record label's first rock and metal show. Which was pretty stressful for me because I've been involved in shows, but I was never the guy organizing the shows before. So this is the first time I have put a show together myself.
I feel like the hardest part is securing the venue.
Yeah.
They had that, I guess my guy in the record label, he's King Poe. He's a good dude. He's the guy who brought me on board. He had already had an in there. And he was like, hey, we're trying to put on a show there. I'll pass it on to you if you think you can do it. And I was like, all right, I'll give it a try. Because it was originally going to be a hip-hop show like we usually do. Because it's a hip-hop label, you're usually going to do a hip-hop show. But he was like, hey, I brought you in because you got that rock background. Why don't we make it a rock show? I'm like, okay. All right. So he canceled all of his hip hop guys that were going to be on it, and was like, now it's yours. Go find some people. So I was like, okay. But I got in contact with people, and I've got a kind of a hybrid lineup. There's going to be 5 total performers there. It's going to open with a guy named Seth, who is from the record label itself. He's a great dude. He's actually running flyers all over town for me, probably as we speak.
Nice.
He's like the street team guy, but he does his own performances. So he's going to be there as the opener at 7:00. Then we have Steve O'Creep, who does like a horror rap rock kind of hybrid thing. It's pretty neat. I like it. He's at 7:30. Let me pull up my times because I got everything like
plug away.
Details are everything. You guys know me. I'm like details.
Oh no,
yeah, dude. And I'm in the chat. I'm with Naaman Roberts of Falling Under. You need to connect with them. They have a huge following there in Ohio and are part of
I like
our
the sound of that.
community there. They're amazing.
Oh, they are amazing. They are.
They do a mix. They do like originals. They do covers.
Yeah.
They do everything. They're super good live. Like, oh my God, they will blow your mind. So
Yeah.
connect with them. I'm telling him to connect with you.
Yeah.
Excellent. I'll keep them on my radar. Yeah, 7:30 we got Steve O'Creep. Then at 8:15 we got Only the Lucky Ones Die, who are absolutely insane. They're a metal band and they're fantastic. I haven't seen them in person yet, but all their videos are just crazy. After that, we've got Oblivia at 9:00. They're also really good. I liked their sound. At 10:00, and this is kind of the linchpin to the whole thing. Because when I was putting this show together, I was like, we need people who are going to bring people in the door.
Yeah.
So I looked at each of these bands. I was like, what kind of a following you got? How many people you got?
Exactly.
Online and this and that. I've been picking everybody based on that to try to get as many people as possible and make it profitable for everybody. Because I want everybody to get paid. I don't want the bands to walk away with like, I made $10 at that show on Saturday.
Yeah.
I want people to make money because it's your local musicians. You deserve to get paid.
Yes.
So, but the headliner is Canton's. It's basically Canton's version of the Black Keys. The Black Keys came out of the local area from Akron or Cleveland and went huge. And these guys are the Intangibles, and they are one of the biggest things that this area has going on right now.
I feel like
I've got
I've
them
heard
booked.
that name before.
You might have.
I feel like
I've got
heard that name before.
I've got them on the show as the headliner. They're like a jazz rock fusion kind of thing, which doesn't do them justice because they're so far outside of description. It's fantastic. I love them, and I'm glad I was able to get them on this show. And they're playing at 10:00. They're going to close out the show.
Ooh.
And that is February 16th at the McAlpine Meadery. The doors are open at 6. It is $10 at the door, which is excellent for all those bands. $10, 21 and over. I'll have wristbands and everything. I'll have people at the door for you. So everybody who's in Ohio, come out, and watch these guys play because everybody on the bill is great. Seth's great. Steve's great. The Intangibles are great. Everybody from beginning to end is a fantastic experience. And I want to pack this place so you can barely move.
Yes.
I hope you do. Like, that's part of our mission statement. We've been asked a lot about our mission statement, particularly about the Save Music part. And that's it. Because musicians are taken advantage of. Independent artists are taken advantage of. They play for free way too much. They pay to play. Like, that is just bullshit. Like, that's why
pay for drink tickets.
Yeah, no.
Half off of our food. 50%.
Yeah.
What about the musicians that don't drink? Like, drink tickets, big deal. Like, they don't do anything for you then. Like, come on, guys.
50% off for your meal.
Like, the good thing about the meadery, as far as a promoter, like setting up a show there, is we have a deal with the meadery. And I don't know if they do that with everybody, but I know we at least have this set up where we take everything from the door. So we set that price, which means I set it for $10 because I was like, I
That's
don't want to
good.
overcharge people, and
Yeah,
I
'cause
want
you
the
won't
bands to
come.
get paid.
Yep.
But
Yeah.
we take $10 at the door, and then the venue takes everything from the bar. Simple, easy arrangement.
Easy.
So the more people we
Easy.
bring in, the more
Yeah.
people drink and pay with the
Yep.
bar. The bar's happy.
Exactly.
We get the door.
And if they serve food, they're
Yeah.
selling more food because
They will
people
buy food.
they want to eat
Yeah.
food
Yeah.
when you're drinking.
Yep.
And I can take that door money, and at the end of the night, and be like, okay, split it. Here we go. Here's for you. I'll take a little bit of a cut to pay the people who were helping me at the door, and
Sound
everybody's happy.
guy.
Everybody gets paid.
Don't forget your sound guy. Never forget your sound. Never.
Well, the thing about that too is it's good is because the girl who was my contact at the meadery, she is the sound person.
Oh,
So she gets, whatever they get from the bar and everything like that. So it's not a separate charge, because I know what that's like too, because a lot of times a good sound person is not cheap, and that's not a problem either, because
Yeah.
they shouldn't be cheap.
No.
A good sound person should know what they're doing and
Yeah.
should be well worth the cost you're going to pay them. I've worked with some terrible sound people in the past, but I've worked with some very good people, and they were worth every penny. So,
yeah.
but the good thing about here, like I said, is I don't have to pay any extra costs. It all goes to the bands, and I'll just do a split. Everybody gets a piece of the pot.
That's great. Like, I love that. I love that. Like, and that is the community network that we are advocating to have, because the venue's working with you.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it's all in harmony.
Mhm.
No one's working against each other.
Nope.
Frustrating when, you guys know, you get it. You're in the
When
industry.
I was doing metal bands in Pennsylvania, the worst part was always like, I don't mind going to a place and them being like, well, we'll pay you at the end of the night and see what we get. Okay, that's fine. That's fair. The worst part was when they'd be like, okay, well, here's a stack of tickets. Your placement is decided by how many tickets you sell, and then you decide how, like, you get paid based on
Got
whatever.
25 tickets.
Such a
10
racket.
piece. You sell those. Anything
Uh-huh.
after 25 tickets, you get to keep 100% of.
Yeah.
That's how we do it in Seattle. And it's super shitty because it's almost impossible to sell 25 fucking tickets in advance.
Mhm. Well, the thing about it too is that we would have bands, because you never know what somebody's finances are like. So we'd have some
Right.
bands that are like, oh yeah, all of our equipment is paid for by our parents, by this, by that.
Yeah.
We didn't have to worry about paying anything. So they have their parents and their friends like buy up all the tickets, and they get a primo spot, but they didn't actually bring any of the crowd in, but they got the primo spot.
Yeah.
And there'd be times when it'd be like a multi-stage event where if you had good sales, you're on the main stage with the headliner. If you had middling sales, you're on a second stage, which is still pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
If you have like whatever sales, you're here on this upstairs stage that's super tiny that nobody goes up to unless they're bored or they don't like what's going on downstairs.
You're outside.
And so there'd be times when we'd be doing that, and I'd hate it so much. Like, I don't even mind necessarily not getting paid. It was more just like, we're not playing in front of everybody.
Right.
It's just, and the tickets dictate everything. And you always get the people who sell because they have money, and you don't because you're trying to make money. You're not trying to spend money.
Exactly.
But, that's how things go.
They do.
You have those people who also buy their own tickets.
There's that too, yeah. And they get it like a perfect spot.
Yeah.
And they don't have any fans in the audience. It's just they bought the tickets.
Give them out to people. Say, here's a free ticket. Come see my show.
Yeah, and I've seen bands do that. I've worked with bands that do that. When I first entered the Seattle scene, I was appalled that that's what people had to do.
Mm-hmm.
I had friends and family buy tickets definitely so that we could play some venues and play in front of a nice sized crowd. But like you said, it's like you got a primo spot, but it's not your people. I mean, if your people live everywhere else, it's hard.
Yeah. You got to hope that
Yeah.
I've put all this investment in. I got to hope it comes back as a return.
Yeah.
Because half the time there's some other band there that's just like, oh yeah, we're the band that everybody came to see.
Yeah.
And you're trying to get in there, and I don't know. It's a tough landscape. I don't miss that part of it. So
I don't
much.
like working with musicians with that kind of mentality.
Mm-mm.
I don't.
Mhm.
I want everybody to be there to have fun, enjoy
Yeah.
their
That's what I
shared.
love most too.
That's
Is
the
like,
whole
and
thing.
why we do musicians hangout is because we're about the socializing with other musicians and getting to know them, their journey, and enjoying their music and supporting them. Like
I want to
that's
show people, the great tunes that my fucking band plays. Like, check us
yeah,
out.
right.
Like when I was with the metal band, I liked playing with them. Don't get me wrong; it was a great experience. I miss it. They're all great dudes. They're all still playing in different bands out that way. I've seen them play like all kinds of different things over the years because once in a while I still get out there and still get to see them in their various projects. But when I was playing my solo stuff, I didn't have very many shows, but I had a couple shows. And just when you go up there and you have no idea how people are going to take you, especially me because I never had much of an online presence, I would show up and nobody would
Right.
know what to expect, and I'd get into it. It'd be like a great
Yeah,
set, and there'd be people who just be like, yeah. And those are
right.
the people that you see from the stage, and you're just like, oh, this one's for you. And you
Yeah.
keep on going. And after the show, you get random people just coming up and be like, oh, that was fantastic. I want to buy a CD, or I want to do
Right.
this, I want to do this. And man, it's so difficult to predict that kind of stuff and to keep that momentum going sometimes.
Because
And
there's other times where you play in front of two fucking people.
I played at the same place once, 2 months in a row here in Ohio. It was a little place called the Stone Tavern. I don't think they do shows anymore. They had some kind of issue with ownership or something. I don't know.
Ooh.
But the first show I was on, some friends invited me. They were like, "Hey, do you want to play our show?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Excellent crowd. Loved every second of it. Like
Yes.
everything was great. And because these
Yeah.
guys were my friends in that band, they came out and were like singing along. So everybody saw them
Oh,
singing along. They're like, "Oh yeah."
yes.
And the next time I had a cold and I couldn't hit the notes the same. So I did a different set that did lower notes. But there
Right.
wasn't as many people there, and it wasn't very good, and I was just like, oh, it wasn't so good. So it was just such a contrast between like the one time and the second time, but that's how it goes sometimes.
It does. You're only human, like sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. And man, the people who follow you relentlessly and show up to every show, they know that. God, I was playing a show, I mixed up my verses. A fan was like belting out my verses for me, and I was like, fuck yes, like he knew better than me. Like, oh my God, like that's like so humbling when that happens, and like also helpful because it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's where the fuck I am.
I'm at a point where like I did a couple of digital shows while everybody was locked in and everything like that when they were doing the virtual thing.
Oh yeah.
And it had been so long since I was on stage. I'm getting old. I can't remember all my own lyrics. I just can't. It's just how it is. If I've got a whole set of like 12 songs, I can't always remember. So I have to use a cheat sheet. I have to like put my tablet up with like the lyrics on there to glance at it, make sure I'm at the right spot, or my phone or something. And so now that's what I got to do. Like I'll announce it ahead of time and be like, hey, so I'm old. I can't remember things. I'm going to be looking at my lyrics every so often. I hope you don't mind. As long as I'm giving up like a good performance and moving around, I don't think it's a problem. I mean, some people are going to be mad.
I used to tape my lyrics to my toms.
I used to do that too. I do that with new songs when I'm introducing a new song, just so I like, if I don't look at them, I know they're there. And I'm like, okay, if I need it, I have it.
Yeah, tape them right to my toms.
Again, that human element. AI can't do that shit. Just saying.
Yeah. And I guess with that being said, now that I've talked about my music and things, I should probably mention.
Oh.
I should probably mention the big news.
Big news.
The big news. I actually talked about this during my New Year's Eve video. I did a big video of announcements and different things. But as much as I said, I'm retiring, I'm not going to put out any more music, I'm not going to do anything else, I will put out this year, there will be a new Spider in the Hall album this year. It's going to go through the new record label so that they can benefit, I can benefit, everybody benefits.
Yes.
And
yes.
I'll have some features on it, probably from the label, so it's going to be a little different from my past stuff. But it's also going to be, because I'm at a point where I am unashamedly a grouchy old man. And
speak to that in your art, you know, like, why not?
That's what it's going to be. It's going to be a real down to earth, just like, I'm kind of upset about the way the world is and this and that, and it's going to be a real talk kind of album.
I love it.
And I'm going to have other people from the label doing some beats and things on it and whatnot, and spitting some hot fire over some of my music.
I dig that.
And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. It's the first time I've not done something 100% myself when it goes to my music. I'm not releasing it myself. I'm not, just doing it on myself. I'm putting it out through a different platform, letting somebody else do the promotion and things like that. So it's going to be a very interesting, kind of vulnerable, kind of like a real talk kind of thing.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. Oh my goodness, how far you've come.
That's a huge step up.
Huge.
Yeah, it's a big difference. Like, I've never been part of a label when I've released something. I've always just done it myself.
Right.
And so it's different because they're going to get a cut, as they should.
Right.
Because they're helping to do the promotion and the distribution, and that's a lot of work on its own too. Because I know I've done that myself.
Yeah. It is hard.
Are they helping with the recording also?
They probably could if I asked. Although I think I'm too much of I'm too dead set on my DIY stuff that I think I'll probably have to do that myself.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But we'll see how it goes, because I'm gonna start figuring it out within the next month or two. I want it to be out this year.
Yay!
Oh yes.
So it's gonna be a 2024 thing. Hopefully, maybe like late summer or early fall kind of thing.
You've got time on your side. It's only February technically, in like just a few hours.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. You know me. I think like the future is happening right now, and I always have everything like boom, as if it's a rush to get everything done. I have to
and you got
tell myself to step back.
To be that way if you want it to happen. I get that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How exciting, it was. I mean, I understood as a independent artist myself why you stepped away, but it was sad to see you step away too.
I was, yeah.
It wasn't an easy decision either. There was a lot of stuff going on with my life. Like I had personal stuff happening. I was just so burned out with the world, kind of like I had looked around, and because I'd been working on music at the time. Like I'd been working on stuff, but I couldn't write anything lyric wise that I thought was any good, because it sounded like it wasn't relevant anymore. It sounded like it just wasn't like, it was just me writing stuff just to write stuff. It was just me telling fake stories. Yeah. And I didn't want to be inauthentic about it. And I was like, I can't keep on doing that if it's not going to be me. If it's just going to be some whatever just to put the album out.
Yeah.
Right.
And so all that stuff went in storage, and I was like, gotta take a break. Gotta wait. And so now I'm in more of like, I got some things to say, and darn it, you folks are going to listen to it. And that's kind of like where I'm at now. And so I'm going to translate that as much as I can into the music and see where that goes.
That's cool. That's a good way to process too, when you are going through so much and Crash just dipped out. I think it's okay.
That does happen. That does happen sometimes.
Oh, StreamYard. Internet too. So anyway, as she comes back, we'll just speak to this, like that can happen. And oh, hold on. I had a thought earlier. I think that you'll speak to a very wide audience with your frustrations with the world, because a lot of us are feeling that way. Like it just makes sense that that you're feeling this way and writing to it, because a lot of us are feeling, I don't want to say hopeless, I don't want to say helpless, but I reflect on how different the world is in my lifetime, and it has changed so much. And I study history. It has been magnified more so and almost sped up in the past few years to where we're at now, and why it can tend to feel that way, like the helpless, hopeless type of feeling that some of us are overwhelmed with at times, especially this time of year. So I think it's a good time for you to write. And then as it comes out, like that midsummer, late summer time is going to be perfect.
Yeah. Because it, like right now, there's I think about, as I see my daughter grow up, I keep contrasting the things that she's growing up with versus the things that I grew up with. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones for the first part of my life.
No, we didn't.
They weren't a thing. Like the car phone was amazing, and it was this big giant brick kind of thing. The car phone was new and fantastic, and my dad's a gadget guy, so my dad always has the new gadgets. And now my daughter has a tablet and the Xbox console and the iPod, and my dad has VR glasses to play games on, of all things. And I'm kind of like, what has the world come to?
I know.
And it's so weird, because when you're younger, you don't think, you hear your parents and things talk about stuff like that, like, oh, the world has changed and it's not like how I was. It can't be that different.
Like cable.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even have cable when I was a kid. It was just antennas.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
And we didn't have, like, when I was a teenager, we first got satellite for the first time.
You had like aluminum foil just extending.
Yeah. And it's just crazy how things have changed in just so short of a time.
The things that we can access now, the things that we do. Like I never envisioned as a kid that I would be doing this.
I had a handheld computer.
Yeah.
And also make phone calls
in your hand, like everything, all information in the palm of your hand. It's just,
I remember my first flip phones. Like they had the internet sort of, but it was like it was so awful and terrible, and it didn't have images. It was just all text. And if you were trying to send somebody a text message, you'd have to, like, the number was, okay, well, this is where the H is. Boom, boom, boom. And things have advanced so much. And
oh my God, yeah.
It's so different. And sometimes I feel like I'm being really critical, but at the same time, I'm like, nah, because things were both simpler and you had your own hardships back then.
Yes,
and now there's a whole level of just overload.
And there's different hardships that come with that. Like the hardships are still there, but they've changed and they're different. But also in awe. Like it's amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. But like, because we were all born without a technological platform, we understand the world before and how it could have that, I don't know, that nostalgia, but also that simplicity to.
We had a different kind of innocence in our generation.
We did, yes. That's what I'm looking for. It was an innocence that's no more. It really is. Yeah.
I remember, like, on the bus to school listening to my little portable CD player, because that was the big thing, a portable CD player with your batteries
really
and everything. And I had music.
Like cassette.
And then you could, like, there were a couple things I used to do before. I used to start out recording, because I had a big boom box. I would record songs from the radio. Nobody does that anymore. Huh. Nobody records songs from the radio. They got Spotify. They got this, they got whatever. And then from there, they went, to burning CDs. And I remember the first time you were trying to burn CDs, it took like 20 minutes. And if you moved and you vibrated the computer, it would screw it all up. Like you'd have to tiptoe while you were waiting for it, or just sit there and not move. And now it's just like 10 seconds, you burned a CD. And it's like nobody even uses CDs anymore. Now I've got these stacks of CDs. I do, but I still order them.
I know, but I usually tell people, you can find us on Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that's where people are going to go anyway. They're going to look there first. They're going to be like, oh yeah,
find us on Spotify.
Go to where it's easy, because why wouldn't you? We would
But on the same token, now that we're on that, that's where my royalties come from. Now for all the old music, because all my music is still up, just because I took down the Facebook page and the front port of you gotta deal with me for a minute, because sometimes my voice words just flip out.
I'm heartbroken
Point
that
of
you
contact.
took down Spider in the Hall face. Like, I remember when all that went down, and it's just so, it's hard, it was just sad. But I
took all that down. But everything's still, because I go through TuneCore to do my music distribution, everything's still preserved. It's still on YouTube, it's still on Spotify, it's still on iTunes, it's still on Amazon. And I still get royalties from that. Yeah. And now it's like, it's not much, but it's something. And every so often I'm just like, I'm surprised. I'm like, I just got $5 from my royalties today. And I just got like 30 cents from my royalties today. And like,
I was going to say, I just got 20 cents from Spotify.
You couldn't do that before. You couldn't do that before, because you had to go through a label, and you had to go through this, or you had to go physically sell a CD to somebody or sell a shirt to somebody. And now you just
we still make more money when we do that.
Yeah. And now you just put it out there, and over time you get a few pennies or a few bucks here and there. And maybe as more people eventually listen to it, it starts turning into real money. And I get like a smidge more every year. It's still not enough to pay the bills, but it's still interesting to see how high it's starting to stack.
Fair enough. Well, the more people, more people are finding out. Oh, well, this person listened to SpiderintheHALL. Let's see what he sounds like, and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm. And you get added to playlists and all this other kind of stuff, and you couldn't do that before. So as much as I'm like, man, I miss the days of just CDs and tapes and just the physical whatever. I'm in the digital now, and the digital is here, and it's benefiting me. So it's such a weird headspace to be in.
True.
It can be in that, but there is still some, nostalgia coming back with the vinyl. A lot of bands have vinyl going on. Depending on where you get it pressed, it can be worth the money. Yeah. You do have to make money back on the process. There are some bands, more bands give out their CDs, but I appreciate it because I'll throw it in my CD player in my car. Like, I don't always have to stream, but that's because of the generation I'm from too. So I prefer vinyl, because I love that historical nostalgia of vinyl.
I don't have a record player, so I have vinyl. I just can't play it.
You need one, then.
I know.
You can get a little turntable for super cheap and hook it up to whatever you want.
I need to just get one.
Amazon, Walmart, you can get.
I was just going to say Amazon.
Yeah.
Because that's what I did. I just got this really cheap, like, little turntable that you can also put a USB in to rip the vinyl off onto if you want to do the best of both.
That's cool.
So you can get the vinyl when you want to sit at home and just listen to a good record, which I still do once in a while.
Yeah.
Or you can put it on the USB, take that, put it on the MP3 player, plug that into the car. Because that's what I do in the car. I just listen to MP3s because I can listen to 1,000 songs over the course of a trip if I need to. So again, it's another weird space to be in, how you're like, I just want to listen to this calmly at home.
Yeah.
And then in the car, I want to have random whatever.
I have one of those older cars, so I have two options. CD or cassette. And I have one of those cassette things that you can, you put the
My
tape
last car was
in,
like that. My
Nice.
and then
last car
you
just
plug
had the
it into your
cassette.
phone. But
Mm.
that just doesn't. It works for like 5 seconds and stops.
Hmm.
So
My last car had that. This car, the CD player ate one of my CDs, and I haven't replaced
I
it yet.
hate that.
Like I can't get it out.
Oh,
It's a
no.
burned CD, so it's not a huge issue. I can always make a
Okay.
new one. So that
Okay,
was
that's good.
sigh of relief. But
Fun.
it won't come out, so I have to get into the console of the car, take out the CD player. And it's not easy. It's not one of those ones where you just can unplug and put back in. You have to actually take off the whole inside of the car to
yeah, like
extricate the thing.
that's
Yeah.
that's
I
my
have
car.
the new one,
No.
but it's like finding the time and like finding the want to do the effort to do that when I can just plug into
Right.
the auxiliary port, the
Yeah.
headphone port, and plug in my MP3
Oh, yeah.
player is kind of like I'm just being lazy.
Well,
Yeah,
that human element. You're being human. Like that's what we do. We're like, what's the simplest way to just deal with this situation?
yeah.
And we
Yeah.
have gotten more that way. Well, we speak to age. Like Spider, you were speaking about age and how like your writing is different. So that like comes with age, but it's also come with the territory of
Mm.
pandemic, post-pandemic, all the crap that's been going
Yeah.
on for years just put us in this state of mind as well. Like
Yeah.
Yes.
everyone. So it's like, I just want it easy right now because I can't deal with more shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like-
yes.
And this
Yes.
whole year has just been nuts for me. Like it's
Well,
only
this-
the end of
this
January.
whole-
Yeah.
This
Like-
whole 2020 has been like 2020 on.
It's
Has
been
just
4 years. I'm like wrapping my head around that still. I think I lost 2022. It's just like not even there. Let me
Yeah.
It all blurs together into
What
one
happened to
big
that
like
year?
who knows what year was what
Yeah.
because they were all the same.
Yeah.
And this year
like
alone,
the
like
6-week shutdown turned into like a 3-year thing.
Yep.
Did.
Yeah, we had to do that in Ohio for a while, and
Yeah.
eventually they changed. And I don't want to get into.
Yeah.
I don't want to get anybody into a. Don't want to get anybody into a discussion about that because people have
Right.
strong opinions
That
still.
blows up every opinion on
I'm
it.
still pissed
Right.
about the toilet paper though. Like that was fucking uncalled for, Karen.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was crazy. Like,
How many fucking rolls do you really need? Like
oh,
it's a breathing problem,
You still
not a
have
shitty
too much.
problem, Karen. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Kevin.
Hey,
says
there's
hi.
Kevin. Oh man.
Kevin, hi.
Kevin!
But like, and while Kevin's here, I do want to say, because I don't want to forget,
Oh,
I want to say congratulations to him and to both of you in front of
Oh.
everybody for the great event that you guys put on. I wish there'd been video, but I understand why there wasn't. There was so much stuff going on with
There
it. I
was.
get it.
yeah.
I would have loved to see how it went from start to finish, but following the post vicariously, I could see how
Aw.
great of an event it was and how much
Yeah.
people had fun and how
It
much work
was.
you put in, and just keep doing things like that because local places need stuff like that. We don't
We
have
will.
anything like that
Right.
in Ohio.
When Kevin was our guest last week.
Oh, 2 weeks ago.
No, 2 weeks ago now. It was 2 weeks ago.
I remember he had the glasses.
Yeah. And 2 Libras chimed in.
Oh,
It was nice to see their comment that it ran so smoothly. It was like we
Yeah.
had been doing it for years.
yeah, that did feel good. We had a lot of fun with it. We tried to make it smooth, just have
Right.
flow and have a good
Right.
time with it. And we spoke to this with Kevin live on the show, even through all the hate, there's been more positive and
Yeah.
Right.
lots
Yeah.
of love for this type of thing.
Yes.
And
And you're always going to get the people that are just like, oh, well, this is
Yeah.
just for this, or it's just for ego gratification, it's just pandering this, or it's why
Yeah.
wasn't I involved, or
Okay,
why
you're
wasn't this?
always
It's like,
gonna have those people.
yeah,
Oh, Kevin, you're so sweet. He says, that was because of you ladies. Oh, well,
Oh,
giving us credit, but you get
It was a team
you
effort. Like,
did
I know
so.
for a
Kevin.
fact, I can see from my little position off here in little old Ohio, it was a team effort, and I appreciate everybody involved. Like, it was great to see everybody come together
Yeah,
to make that happen.
Thank you.
yeah. We all put in a lot of work for it. We really all did.
We did, yes.
For
Especially
months.
Kevin.
For months.
That's what I say. Kevin
Yes,
did
especially
so
Kevin.
much. Yeah.
Kevin, he had to get a lot of, oh God, he had to get a lot of shit handled and then redirect stuff and then put stuff in and this and that. Like, cheers, Kevin. Like, I'm
Cheers to Kevin.
speechless.
100%.
Yeah,
We
I'm
just added
speechless to your
powerful.
wonderfulness.
We
Like,
did
that was an
powerful.
amazing thing.
It was. It was. We just
Haters
added
or
a little,
not, they still
cherry.
paid to be there.
Yeah, me too. I did. I was like, I'm buying a ticket and supporting this shit, you know? Mm-hmm. Yep. Well,
Where are we
guys,
at? I don't even remember what I was talking about.
so let's plug Spider. Spider, go ahead. Oh, we are a great team. You are right. You are right. So,
He's like, I almost quit many times.
yeah. Yeah.
Let's see
You
here.
did. Glad you didn't. Because we got to feel pretty and sparkly.
Because we are a great team.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. Yes. Where can we find your stuff? And
plug yourself.
Where can we find your label? Like,
I'm gonna put some things into the chat room here. I'm gonna start off with my main output is called Spider Does Things.
Yes.
Which is where my YouTube, it's where I do all of my video stuff, all my podcast things. I have some music on that page, all that good stuff. I'm also going to put in the record label, which is Big Buff Records. Right now, like I said, they're a hip hop label, but they're expanding into the rock and metal area. I'm going to be putting my next album through them.
That's awesome.
And I'm still with This Uncanny Earth, which is discussion of history and the paranormal and
shout out to Rob. Hi, Rob.
Yeah, right.
All kinds of good stuff. We don't get to hang out as much as we used to just because we got lots of stuff going on in both of our lives. He's got a new job and he's got all kinds of things going on. And I've got things going on, but we still get to hang out once in a while. And we are still every Friday at this time slot at 10 p.m. Eastern time, which would be 7 p.m. Pacific on This Uncanny Earth on YouTube. And we have a group on Facebook, but we're also starting a page to be a little bit more visible so that you don't have to join a group if you feel like that's a little too exclusive.
Yeah.
And this is the page that I just posted rather than the group so that people can follow there first. It's not quite set up where it needs to be. It was initially supposed to be like one of his own personal pages, and then we're like, we're going to repurpose it and make it for this. We've added a couple people to the team, so we're expanding there. Lots of things happening.
I saw that announced. How exciting!
Lots of things happening in a lot of different directions, and we're working on expanding as far as we can expand in every direction.
Yes. I think you guys should like go out into the field and do some investigating.
That's part of the plan too. We meant to do that before the virus thing happened, and we had a good start. Then that happened and shut it all down. And we just haven't been able to get back into that groove. But that's part of the plan. We do intend to do more like investigating local areas, checking places out.
Ghostbusters thing where that has that like, I don't know, it looks like some weird transponder or something. And it lets you know when a ghost is around.
We don't have the equipment, but we do. We do know a lot of people that have that kind of stuff, and I'm gonna name drop somebody. There's a guy named Les Odell. We call him Legendary Les Odell
Yeah.
because he is just a great person all around. He's really humble.
Cool.
He goes out and he looks for like Bigfoot and things like that. And he's really logical about it. He doesn't go out and be like, "Oh, this random thing must have been Bigfoot." He looks for evidence as best he can
Right.
and eliminates things. And he's a great guy. He's a good
I
family
found
dude.
him. I'm
See?
Yep.
What's his name?
He's a great person. Les Odell.
Les
Oh, gotcha.
Odell.
Les Odell.
He's
Go
been
find
on
him.
the show a few times. We're supposed to go out to
That's
do winter camping with him one time.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Where it's like heavy snow somewhere
Yeah.
in West Virginia,
Oh, that'll be cool.
where we're going to go out and take a look and see what we can find in the heavy, thick snow. We haven't quite worked out all the details yet, but we're supposed to go out and we're definitely going to take some video when we do that and see what we can see.
Yeah, I dig it. Yeah, you might hear some things out there. It's really quiet.
It
out
could
in
be
the
he's
snow.
heard things, he's seen some
Ooh,
things. So
I've heard several different videos of Sasquatch howling.
Oh,
And
and
they
the
all
wood knocks
sound
and all that.
like they all sound similar. Like all the howls sound
do.
similar. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it's like a Sasquatch, but they're all taken in different wooded areas.
Yep.
But
Yeah, it's the Bigfoot stories alone are really interesting across the world because every
they really
place,
are.
different places have them,
They are
Yeah.
worldwide. Yeah.
and they all are all unique, and you can't just dismiss them as nothing because they're all
yeah, I
unique.
mean,
Yeah.
they have the Yeti. What's the Yeti? Bigfoot.
Basically.
Abominable snowman.
Different.
What's that?
Different. Yeah.
In Missouri, you've got something called Momo, the
Mhm.
Missouri monster, and it looks like it's
Yeah.
draped in like foliage and things, and then you've got the skunk ape and all kinds of different names for them all over the place. You've got Native American legends. It's fascinating, absolutely
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
North Dakota has their own version. It's like a bison man. It's like the Matahay. I can't say
The
it right.
goat
It's-
man, and
yeah.
you've got in Wisconsin, you've got the Bray Road
Minnewaska,
Beast, which is
sorry.
like a werewolf kind of deal. Ooh, fantastic stuff.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Definitely.
poor Wyoming, all they got is a damn jackalope. That's lame. There's
My
no
daughter loves the
areas
jackalope.
really, except for Yellowstone, but really, like, yeah, no, they got the jackalope. That's the best they can do.
My daughter loves the jackalope.
Very
As soon as I
Midwest.
told her about the jackalope, she was like, "Really? That's really cool." And she loved
That's
it.
one of my favorite animals is the jackalope.
Daughters
Mhm.
love jackalopes. I can, speak to that.
I
This is
had
a
a
weird
friend who
tangent.
really
Yeah.
thought that the jackalope was fucking.
I thought it was real, but I was like,
She thought it was real. Like my friend Jessica straight up thought that it was a real fucking thing for years. Years.
A weird tangent. When I was younger, when America's Funniest Videos was still on,
Yes.
and you had like Bob Saget at first, but then you had the other guy from the same show. You had Dave Coulier,
Yeah.
who was the host, and he always did that segment where he had like the jackalope running from somebody. Now I remember that.
That's
Random
funny.
tangent. That's me. You
No,
guys
it's
gotta know
okay.
my
That's
tangents.
fine. Like welcome to Musicians Hangout. That's our whole
I've
thing.
been on like this whole I'm like, what are the cryptids of Wyoming? I was interested, and like I'm finding San Pedro mummy, sirens, Yellowstone Lake, which
Yeah.
assume, like lizard
Yeah.
people. Like there's some shit.
In Ohio, we have the Frog Man.
Yes, I've
We
heard
have
of
the Frog
Frog
Man.
Yes.
And just a little bit south in West Virginia, you've got the Green Monster, which is the Braxton County monster. You have the Mothman. You've got so
Oh,
many
Mothman,
things.
yeah.
Oh, it's so fascinating. I want to go there one of these days. I want to go to Point
Yeah,
Pleasant
you
and see.
should.
They got the big statue and they got everything.
You have to go there. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
totally
yeah.
up
It,
your
it,
alley.
it's on the list. It's
Yes.
definitely on the list.
Yes. Well, kids, it's about that time.
It is. Oh my gosh, Spider, it's been so amazing catching up with you. So
Yes,
excited.
I'm so excited for you. A record label, like Congrats,
Absolutely.
my friend. And I
Blow
seriously cannot wait for this collab album to come out.
Oh, it's gonna be something different. It's gonna be
I'm
something
ex-
special.
I'm excited. Like, oh my God, I'm excited. Like, yes, I
Well,
can't.
we'll
It's
have
gonna
to
be
have
special.
you back to talk about it because when
Absolutely.
you mentioned that you haven't been on our show since like we've gotten all of the upgrades with the
I
background.
know it's like
Yeah.
it's so professional here. I'm kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm like the country bumpkin out here.
Ooh. Yeah, and here we are in like rooms, but
We
The
would
big
never
time.
think that because we know where we started and like we've come
yes.
this far and we're still growing. So like we
And here's the thing. The best part is we wouldn't be growing like this without the love and support of our friends, and especially our friends in Ohio.
yeah, exactly. And well,
Because we wouldn't have this lovely background and lovely video without
that, yeah,
them.
without those
So,
connections. Huge shout out to Don Rush and Spider. You're one of our inspirations. Too.
yes.
You know, like that's a big reason why we know each other and we're even doing this. So thank you.
And
You
you've
are
given us,
two
like,
of my favorite ladies. Like
Oh.
absolutely, 100%.
and you've given us some great tips over the years on how
Yes.
to do things a little differently. And we've taken it, kind of made it our way, but
Yeah.
We started at the bottom, and here we are.
Yeah. We're all like working up and it's so beautiful to see.
yes.
Yay
And-
us.
Yay.
If I had anything left in my glass, I would have toasted to it, but I drank it all.
Well, we're gonna toast with empty glasses.
There we go.
Uh-huh.
Let's have some oxygen.
Look at
Here we
those
go.
guys. Like I'm the only one that's
I
still
like a
a
drip.
drink.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yes, we'll have you back. We'll of course stay connected.
Yes.
All right, friends, I will take us out. Let's go. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay safe and keep rocking out there. We love you. See you
We'll
next
see you next week.
Bye.